Welcome, friends, to Holy Hills. My name is April Cranford. Today, let's explore the concept of creating moments of joy in mission alongside our families. A family member can be a spouse, a child, a cousin, or a furry companion. There are countless ways to serve with our families in mission, and I know that many of you are already serving on a daily basis with your family, especially if you are a caregiver for a loved one with dementia. If you are a caregiver, thank you. Thank you for stepping into this role for individuals who may have forgotten your name, or they ask you the same question multiple times during the day. I encourage you to read the book, Creating Moments of Joy. This little orange book has revamped my visits with people, especially my visits with individuals diagnosed with dementia. The author, Jolene Brackley, went to school for interior design. After completing her degree, she worked in the design field. However, after a few years, she left that career because it left her unfulfilled. She decided to change jobs. She loved older people, which led her to accept a new position as the activities director at an Alzheimer's unit. Within this new position, she spent time with the age group that she preferred and implemented many elements of her gifts in interior design. Her vision was to push aside frustration with this particular disease and create a moment of joy both for the resident and the resident's family. In her book, Jolene shares inspirational quotes, some simple drawings, and retells numerous stories from her 14 years spent as an activities director. She weaves into each page how to enhance a space with paint or how to enhance a visit with a story. Whenever I share a conversation now with a person in their home, in a coffee shop, or in a memory care facility, my greatest hope is to create a moment of joy within the visit. Often hearing a person's story can shed new light in serving and mission with our family. I shared a mission conversation with Lisa through Zoom. Lisa resides in Trinidad and Tobago. Lisa lives with her husband and 2 children. She has a full-time job and she is a caregiver to both her mother, who has dementia, and her brother, who is autistic. Lisa loves to write. However, often writing takes a back seat due to caring for her family. I asked Lisa to share her story with you. May you find encouragement in listening to her words.
Hello, I am Lisa and I live in Trinidad and Tobago. I just want to tell you a little bit about my mom and my brother. My mom is 82 years of age and she has dementia. And my brother, he's 54, he'll be 54 this year, and he's autistic. I I am primary caregiver to both of them. Um, After my father died 11 years ago, my mother became a completely different person. She was always vibrant and outgoing, and after my father died, it's like she just lost her interest for life. And as she got older, of course, her memory started to fade, and it was really heartbreaking for me to see, this once vibrant woman just become so docile, almost childlike. A couple of years ago, I took a vacation, and when I came back, I found out that my mother was something negative happened to her because of her dementia. And I had to put things in place to make sure that she was safe. Both she and my brother. So I had to find a caregiver for her, and I had to get her assessed and enroll her into or register into a clinic called the Memory Clinic, where they would monitor her and make sure that everything is going okay with her, give her medication for her memory and all that. But before I registered her into the clinic, I had to get a referral letter. So I had to go to another clinic. And while she was there, when they took her blood pressure, they saw that it was really high. It was like almost 200 over 90 something. And they told me, well, this woman is at risk of getting a stroke. So they gave her the medication and, of course, a referral letter to get her into the memory clinic. So when I got to the memory clinic now, apparently there was this kind of list. So they told me it would take about 6 months before they could actually get her into the clinic. And I had to beg, and I begged them, please, this is really important. I need to get my mother registered now. So they spoke to the doctor, and the doctor was really nice. He said, well, fine, he will look at her, And they did the assessment. And of course, well, at that point, she was officially diagnosed with dementia. And of course, I had to also run some tests. One of the tests was an MRI or CAT scans, one of the two. I really don't remember which one it was. But the results of that showed that my mother had multiple strokes. And when the doctor told me that, I was like baffled. And it's just the term multiple, there were many strokes, but, it was more than one. And I had to thank God that, he still kept her going, even with all those strokes that happened to her. And I have to, really say that God he kept them, he protected them, in so many different ways. So now she's under the care of the memory clinic and, of course, the health center, make sure that she gets all her medication on time and all that. And one of the other things, too, in getting that caregiver for her, I had to, go to several different agencies trying to find somebody, somebody I could trust. And one of our local agencies actually got somebody for me. And, she really took to them because not everybody's accustomed to my brother. Some people tend to be afraid of him, but she took so well to them. But the thing about it is that after a year, the agency called and said, well, her time is up. So they'll have to place her into another family. And if I wanted to, I'll have to reapply to get someone else. And that would take a while. And I mean, I really couldn't think of anybody else to stay with my mom, other than this specific caregiver. So I spoke to her and I asked her if she'd be willing to stay on, and I would pay her instead. And she agreed. And, that I felt so much more comfort with that, And so everything has been falling into place. Some of these things took time, but, as I said, God just kept working with me. Every time I visit my mom, she'll ask me, when you're coming to live with me, So I say, well, Mom, soon, So I know one of the things I would have to do is probably take voluntary retirement, probably next year, or a couple of years from now. And for as long as she's alive, I'll have to make sure that I go visit often, spend a lot of time with her. But whenever I do go to visit, it's not very often. Well, once a week. I try to go at least once a week because I work full time. So I can't go every day. But usually when I go, I'd always carry a treat for them. She loves ice cream. So now I'd probably carry ice cream or buy a cake or something, especially for my brother. He's 54, but he's still more or less childlike. He loves his snacks. So I always make sure that he has a snack. And, so I'll go visit and spend a little time on a weekend. Sometimes I'll go spend a few hours with them. But I know I would have to make that sacrifice and start putting things in place so I can take early retirement and spend more time with them. So we have to make sure that our vulnerable in society, and it's not just children, it's the elderly, those with disabilities, we have to take care of them. And that is something that we are mandated to by the Lord. So that's my little story about my mom,
I hope Lisa's words encouraged you to care for the vulnerable within your family and community. There are many places that provide excellent memory care for our families, such as Summit Square Retirement Community. This is a beautiful place to call home. I would like to leave you with a poem from this little orange book. As you listen to the words from the poem Let Go. View the captivating art drawn by Lisa. To let go does not mean to stop caring. It means I can't do it for someone else. To let go is not to cut myself off. It's the realization that I can't control another. To let go is to admit powerlessness, which means the outcome is not in my hands. To let go is not to try to change or blame another. It's to make the most of myself. To let go is not to care for, but to care about. To let go is not to judge, but to allow another to be a human being. To let go is not to deny, but to accept. To let go is not to nag, scold, or argue, but instead to search out my own shortcomings and correct them. To let go is not to regret the past, but to grow and live for the future. To let go is to fear less and love more. I encourage you to take a simple step in mission with your family and create a moment of joy this weekend. Take care and see you soon.